Not fantasy-wise, but just like
just on the
for
football
Gates.
field. Ask his wife. When she thinks she's just going to have 4 kids, he gives her 8.
Yeah, he's a king, dude. He gives and he gives and he gives, and he's not appreciated by the fantasy community, and I would assume his wife.
You're listening to Let's Talk Fantasy Football, where men of fantasy genius have realized, hey guys, we don't need real football skills to dominate on the fantasy field. Yeah. So slap on your pads and grab your helmet. Shit's about to get real.
Welcome back to the second part of not just the AFC West preview, but the second part of the first Voncast of the season. You're all welcome. I know you're pumped. So that obviously means I am here with my friend Vinny Gonzalez. How you doing, bud?
What's going on, Don? I'm excited. Very excited. I'm ready for part 2.
I took my brown shirt off and I'm ready. I put on a yellow shirt. I'm ready for the flair. I'm ready for the good part of the AFC West. I'm ready to bolt up with the Chargers soon, hit the Raiders. I'm ready to go.
This is typically how the Voncast works, too. We have a blasé first one, and then part 2 is pretty off the rails and fun.
Yeah, we got over the Jets of the West with the Denver Broncos. Sorry to all you Bronco fans. Hit a fun Kansas City for Shrek, and now we're ready to really start this up here. So not only are we going to piss off Shrek, we're going to piss off Walsh. We're going to hit Chargers before we give them the Raiders. But before we do any of that, this podcast is brought to you by Auction Draft. So if you're looking for a new home for your auction league or possibly looking to play for the first time, Auction Draft is the best site for running your fantasy football auction league in 2018. They're LTFF approved, and you can sign up now and get on the list for launch by going to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/auction draft. And we're going to get you the good discount. How you doing? With a 25%. All you got to do in the promo code is Let's Talk Fantasy. I'm not talking 5%, not talking 10%, that's 25%. Go to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/auction draft. All right, Vin. We got to bolt up, dude. I can't wait any longer.
Yeah, it's time. It's absolutely time. Los Angeles Chargers, let's do it, Don.
Yeah, man. We got to start off the right way, man.
There's no other way.
Who I actually think should be actually the new NFL logo, Phillip Rivers.
Just Phillip as the NFL logo?
With just a pose of the sidearm hose.
Slinging a touchdown sidearm. That's perfect. Gold.
I don't think you can go wrong with that. Phillip Rivers, sleeper of the stout quarterback ADP.
Always.
Every year.
Every single year. He's always top 10. He's always outside of the top 10 when we draft. It's ridiculous.
I would say he is the best value fantasy football player every year.
Probably super debatable, but I like where your head's at, Don, for sure. We're also,
or should I say consistently the best value because he does it every year. He always exceeds his expectations.
Oh yeah, it's easily done too because he's a guy that slings it. He goes over 4,000, throws well over 550. It's always Phillip. Always Phillip.
He's not even exceeding expectations just on the football field. Ask his wife. When she thinks she's just going to have 4 kids, he gives her 8.
Yeah, he's a king, dude. He gives and he gives and he gives, and he's not appreciated by the fantasy community, and I would assume his wife.
Fucking bolt up, man. I think they're going to win the AFC Championship and go into the Super Bowl.
Wow. That is a bold claim, but dude, with that new defense and just that settling out and finally it's all coming together for the Chargers, it seems. And Raiders kind of fell apart. Broncos are indifferent. Chiefs, I think the Chiefs would be a problem for them, but I like where your head's at, Don. Again, you're just strong-headed Charger fan.
Yeah, no, Melvin Ingram came out and said that they're going to the Super Bowl, and I believe it. Before we start hitting all the weapons that Phillip Rivers has, Phillip Rivers, like we said, undervalued every year. He's the 13th quarterback off the board. So for all of you guys that are in just 10 or 12 team leagues, good for you. Sit and wait for Mr. Phillip Rivers. Ahead of him, Starting at 9 is Jimmy Garoppolo. Then Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan, and Jared Goff. Leaves Phillip Rivers right there just before a very injured Andrew Luck, a very old Ben Roethlisberger, who's actually the same age but more injury prone, and then a big question mark we hit on the last podcast, Pat Mahomes. So I love where Phillip Rivers is. I think if you really want to get the value out of the rest of your draft with other positions, Phillip Rivers is your man.
Yep. Time and time again, we will always support Phillip. We will always take Phillip in drafts, and we will always be happy with what he gives us.
Phillip Rivers for the new NFL logo. There you go. Vinny, carry me away. I don't care what position you want to hit. Let's just talk more Chargers.
Dude, I'll go to another one of your loves, Melvin Gordon, who I'm absolutely rounding about to. He did great for you last year, Don. It must have been fun owning somebody that you've loved for so long. Goes over 1,000 yards, 8 TDs. Does some fucking passing work too, which I did not expect. He did very well. Melvin Gordon was all around workhorse fantasy back, and I think we should expect the same this year too.
Yeah, almost 1,600 all-purpose yards last year, man.
Yeah. See, instead of saying what were you saying about Jay Ajayi, you should have said that about Melvin Gordon. Instead of being a piece of shit, you should have said the right thing. So,
hey, did I not go Melvin Gordon first round last year before Jay Ajayi?
You called what you were doing, you did what you did, and you had a mediocre season. So Melvin Gordon was a bright spot for you, though, for sure.
Yeah, I probably should have went LaShawn McCoy over Jay Ajayi, but that's another talk for another day. Yeah, dude, Melvin Gordon, man. I mean, we've been hitting running backs obviously because they're the hot talk of the first round. There's 7 of them that are predicted in the first round. If you're in a 10-team league, it's I think 8 if you're in a 12-team league. It's stout this year, but Melvin Gordon I think is not going to be a question mark for you. Versus we've talked about an Alvin Kamara being possibly a question mark. We all talked about Saquon Barkley being a question mark, not because of ability, but because he's a rookie with a very sketchy quarterback / offensive line. Kareem Hunt with who knows what Andy Reid's going to do. And Leonard Fournette with a lot of injury issues, and Dalvin Cook. So that's who he's surrounded by, and Melvin Gordon is going to get you a lot of work. 1,600 all-purpose yards last year. I don't think he's going to lose it. Melvin Gordon at the value of the 10th pick in the first round, I think is perfect.
Yeah, I'm way with you. He's safe. He's awesome. He's elite, and he's going late in the first. Great value. Love Melvin Gordon. Would have no problem taking him.
Awesome, man. Yeah, I think he's a great piece that's going to do a lot, which is actually funny that we're going to talk about it because I think some fantasy owners probably got last year a little worried about the work with Austin Eckler.
I mean, whatever. He'll get some passing work. He'll get involved a little bit. Like towards the end of the season, sure. Melvin Gordon was a little dinged up, but it's just you can't carry the ball all the time. You can't catch every pass, and it's going to see some work. And Austin Eckler's going to get some of it. They did draft Justin Jackson, who's not that impressive. They took him in the 7th round. There's not a whole lot of competition around him, so I think Gordon's still safe. Eckler is not an ad for me. I wouldn't even draft him.
Yeah, so that's perfect, Vinny, because exactly what's going on. Austin Eckler is going undrafted. I have no news on Austin Eckler. I haven't heard anything about Austin Eckler.
No, he's just backup.
I will say he was very efficient last year. Every time he carried, he was averaged 5.5 yards on a carry and 10.3 yards on a reception. So he's very efficient. I haven't heard anything, so that makes you Melvin Gordon fans or owners feel good about it. But overall, man, Melvin Gordon is a great ad. If he's someone that can be somehow, if you get a wraparound with, and you want to go running back, he would be like the perfect number 1 RB2 for you. But either way, he's an RB1. He's going to be probably one of the most consistent out of all the guys in the first round. So grab him if you can.
Yep, absolutely.
But I will ask, because we were talking about it last cast, would you take a Melvin Gordon over the Odell Beckham, Julio Jones?
I think I would take
because he's going ahead of them.
Yeah, I know. I think I would take him over both of them, just because Julio with the holdout very uncertain, and then Odell with his injury coming back, and I'm just never a huge fan of the Giants offense, despite how awesome Odell is. So I'd much rather take Melvin Gordon in the first round where he's going, and then feast on the wide receivers that are still left, which are ridiculous. It's like Mike Evans, AJ Green, like, get the fuck out of here. It's awesome.
Yeah, Keenan Allen, Devontae Adams. Yeah, it's
dude, it's insane in the second round. So I wouldn't have a problem taking Gordon as my number one running back, and then taking there's elite guys going in the second round for wide receiver.
You could even get Julio Jones in the wraparound with getting Melvin Gordon as your number one.
Yeah, unbelievable.
That's pretty crazy. Yeah, man, that's good value. Love the Melvin Gordon. Love where it's going. Love where the sway of the first round is going on that, to leave you open for that number one wide receiver with a Melvin Gordon like that. Is that fair?
Oh, dude, completely fair.
Other than that, I mean, we hit Austin Eckler. There's no one else running back wise. Wide receivers, man. We were just hitting it. So in the realm of the Odell Beckham, Julio Jones, there is Keenan Allen right behind them, and Michael Thomas. He's going the fifth pick in the second round. Again, we are using this all off of Fantasy Football Calculator, 12-team PPR ADP here. Keenan Allen, man, I mean, every year, obviously he's had some injury history, but when he's healthy, man, does Phillip love to just target this guy.
Yeah, finished with 102 catches, almost 1,500 yards, and 6 touchdowns. The only thing with Keenan is he mainly blew up late in the season, weeks 11 through 14, and beat up on bad defenses. So that's the only thing. Like, he did a majority of his work there, bumped up his stats big time, but you got to love Keenan Allen, and his ceiling is massive. And to get him in the second round where he's going is fantastic. Another guy that we just love.
Yeah, you know what, Vin? I'm not worried about the 11-14, although I was worried about it this year. First time I'll allude back to my A-team league that I was in.
Here we go.
Where he just wasn't doing shit, and I needed roster space. But I think Keenan Allen got back into the groove. I mean, this guy had some injuries.
That's true, yeah.
He's finally back and clicking. I'm not worried about Keenan Allen. I know Phillip's got a lot of trust in him, and he's already proven against tough defenses, too, in the past that he's still a target monster. I like Keenan Allen a lot this year.
Yeah, me too.
Phillip's going to be sitting into him. It's just my biggest question mark is just his health status.
Yeah, durability is always the biggest concern with Allen. That was more, I didn't mean to knock him down. I was just saying that was worth mentioning, like his big blow-up weeks. If that was a big concern for people, you still finished with 102 catches. That's fucking ridiculous.
No, and I didn't take it that way. I think it needed to be noted, but also I feel like that wasn't something of, just off of bad defense. I think that was just him finally getting back into his role. So I think this year he's going to start off strong. He's probably going to want a fresh start. Is this year 4 or 5 for Keenan? Is this year 4?
I want to say 5.
5 already. Wow. Yeah. So this is year 5. So he's really probably 26, 27 years old. I'm not going to look or Google it, but he's really about to be in his prime. And this is about the time that he's going to step up and probably have one of the best seasons of his career, depending on injury. But I love where he's going. I would take him ahead of the Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams, Devontae Freeman, and AJ Green that's going behind him.
So he's going to his 6th year, and he's 26.
He's going into his 6th year?
Time flies, man.
Wow. Time flies when you're getting old.
True.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've blown enough smoke up Keenan Allen's ass.
Mainly the Chargers. Let's keep it going. Actually, now it's going to kind of take a downturn.
No,
we can talk about the other guys.
Up in a downturn. I'm still all about it, man. What else we got? We got actually, I think this is really interesting because I was looking at it. I was like, I totally forgot about it. For wide receiver right now, their wide receiver 2 spot, currently they have Tyrell Williams listed ahead of Mike Williams. But Mike Williams, they really went for in the draft last year. sky seems to be the limit for Mike Williams. Obviously, injury just set him back. I believe Mike Williams will obviously be the wide receiver 2 by either beginning of season or early into the season. But they're both going undrafted, but I think Mike Williams is the guy that you keep your eye out for.
I don't know. I'm having a tough time with the Williamses, and still Travis Benjamin is in there, the overlooked dude that we even talked about last year, and he did all right. Had his blow up. He's a streamer wide receiver.
He's a streaming prey.
That's a good way to put that. But if you're looking for a mainstay out of the Williamses, I think I'm going to oppose you, Don. I think Tyrell is the guy. I think he's way more consistent. Obviously, Mike Williams had a lot of injury stuff he had to deal with before he could even see the field last year. So we haven't really seen the full Mike Williams, but I think Tyrell could pay off for you early in the season at least. So if you were throwing up a flyer or you need to fill in early in the year if something bad happens to your team, Tyrell Williams should be there to help you out in a pretty dynamic offense.
I will bet you a 12-pack of spiked seltzers.
Tyrell
on the
yes, the Williamses. I take Tyrell. You take Mike.
I like that.
It's a done deal, sir.
Just don't give me lime spiked seltzer. I don't like lime.
Yeah, I like black cherry. Give me a case of that.
Ooh, I'm cool. You know what? Give me a twist. I like grapefruit a lot.
I'm having the grapefruit right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's a sign that Mike Williams is going to be the dominant William of the Williamses.
I hope Travis Benjamin just blows him out of the water.
They don't even see the fucking field with just Travis Benjamin going. Do you have anything? I mean, you just went to it, but is there any more to go with Travis Benjamin? I mean, he's someone that's going undrafted. I think there was a lot of hopes for him coming out of Cleveland because they saw that he was that deep ball threat with Johnny Manziel. And then,
hey, I mean, he was good last year.
He wasn't.
It's just he wasn't fantasy dependable, but he was good.
Yeah, he's someone that's good on the field for the rest of your team, but we're here to talk about fantasy football, and fantasy aspect, he wasn't good.
Yeah, well, we could bring it around back to fantasy and say, well, on a sad note, Hunter Henry tore his ACL this offseason, non-contact injury, goes down. Those targets are going to go all over the place. And all they have is Virgil Green. There are rumors of Antonio Gates coming back. That's how bad the situation is right now, because Hunter Henry was everything. We would have been hyping him up too right now.
Well, I was going to say I would have probably put Hunter Henry as my number 6 tight end.
Yeah, dude, exactly. He was that good, and I feel bad for him. I hope he comes back healthy. We can talk about him next year, but all they have right now on the roster is Virgil Green. The dude has 71 catches over his 7-year career. He's never had more than 22 catches in a season. Virgil Green will not help you out. He's not a sleeper. Do not take him. These will go to Tyrell Williams, Mike Williams, Travis Benjamin, which is what me and Don were trying to figure out. So if you're looking for the target share, it's going to go to Melvin Gordon, it's going to go to Keenan Allen, and it's going to be split up between the Williamses and Benjamin.
The Williamses. So spin the wheel on the tight end.
Oh, for this situation, absolutely.
I like it, man. I like it. I'll tell you what, I'm really excited about the Chargers this year. Their defense has got it in line. Their offense looks good other than their tight ends. They got 40-year-old Antonio Gates possibly coming back. But
I would love that, though.
Don't fret.
Not fantasy-wise, but just like for Gates.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, he's just a San Diego and now LA Charger legend. But don't fret to any of you. Phillip Rivers is the future NFL logo with a great draft position. The Chargers are going to do fine. Their offense seems to have a lot of weapons that you should draft. And I think their value has stayed or goes where they should all go, which is very nice. So other than that, Vin, do you have anything else to bolt up about?
No, I think we've bolted up quite enough, Don.
Oh, and I feel like that statement is not necessarily true because I don't think I can ever bolt up enough. Yeah,
there's always room for more. And there will be because we're going to do more than this podcast. So it's just going to keep happening.
It's all Shrek and Walsh do is bolt up. But with that being said, it's time to crack yet another beer. We're going to hit a break, and we're going to come back with not as sexy, but definitely sexier than the Jets of the West Broncos. We're going to bring the Oakland Raiders to you, and we'll be right back.
Auction Draft is the best site for running your fantasy football auction league in 2018. You can sign up now and get on the list for launch by going to letstalkfantasyfootball.com/auction draft.
All right, and we are back with the last part of the part 2 of the AFC West preview. You are back again here with the D.O.N. and Vinny for the last quarter of the Voncast, of the first Voncast of the year. That's some math for your all asses. Oakland Raiders. Oakland Raiders, I think, is like the most interesting breakdown from quarterback to receiver to running back to tight end to like, what the hell is going on? I stopped myself from saying the F word. What the hell is going on? Yeah, it's too many. With where everyone should go. There's no one with a high value other than, Amari Cooper having like a decent value in the ADP wise, but everyone else is lower, and someone that from 2 seasons ago where they had a prolific offense and they had a lot of performers to a lot of question marks. Vin, what do you think so far with Oakland Raiders? What can you bring to us?
Dude, I wish I could love them. I really hate them. Like I don't like a single thing. Nothing's dependable. It's all question marks, and I'm having a really, really hard time justifying spending, draft like potential on these guys. I just don't know what to do. I'm having such a hard time, dude.
Yeah.
The main one I can't figure out is Amari Cooper. Is it worth it at this point? Like, we're trying so hard to make Amari Cooper this elite level talent. We keep trying to draft him super high. And it's just, dude, it has not been clicking for him.
Amari Cooper is going to be a guy that whoever stays weary of him, he's going to blow up for, and vice versa. So, like, Amari Cooper, like, I had him last year, and in that 8-team league that I love to always go back to. And the one time I don't play him is when he had that crazy fucking week.
11 catches, 22 targets, 210 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Would you be talking about that night, Don, on Thursday?
That would be the night.
Yeah, he destroyed me very aggressively. Yeah. That ruined my life.
Yeah. So obviously the biggest question is, Amari Cooper last year was supposed to be the year that it was Amari Cooper as the wide receiver 1. This was going to be the AC/DC click, and it wasn't. And no one knew what to do with Amari Cooper. So let's play the name game again, going ahead of him, and we kind of did this, but Demaryius Thomas or Amari Cooper?
I feel like I answered this, and now I can't even remember my own answer from the last podcast. So
I don't either. So we're gonna go follow back to it. But what's your thoughts right now?
My thoughts right now, just confused, dude. Man, I guess DT for consistency. Like, the ceiling obviously is with Cooper, but like, I think I would go DT. I hope I said that in the last podcast. I cannot remember.
I don't know either. But for the second part of the second cast of the AFC West, you are now going for DT. Juju Smith-Schuster or Amari Cooper?
Juju.
Yes. Alshon Jeffrey or Amari Cooper?
Alshon.
Golden Tate or Amari Cooper?
Tate.
Yeah, I was going to say, you had a thing for Golden Tate.
So fast. Dude, I love Tate.
Brandon Cooks over Amari Cooper?
That's another thing where, like, it depends how your draft is shaking out and what you would want or need. If you want the big upside or the guy who's currently terrible but you want him to be elite. So I think this might be a situation where I would take Cooks, and I would normally never do that.
I would take Cooks too. I'm agreeing with everything you're saying here. Man, this is interesting. Okay, so we've already dropped Golden Tate, but the next one up after Brandon Cooks is Marvin Jones. So the second receiver for Detroit, Marvin Jones or Amari Cooper?
Yeah, I think I would take Cooper. And I was telling Walsh, I'm not really cool with Marvin Jones's ADP.
I hate it.
Yeah, I think it's
that.
dude. It's awful. It's way too close to guys that have higher ceilings.
That are number ones.
They have higher floors. That are number ones, and I think we're overcorrecting what he was able to do last season. And his ADP is the dude was undrafted last year.
Yeah. But this wraps up our podcast and the Voncast, man. Hopefully you see a lot more of it this year. But check us out at letstalkfantasyfootball.com. Find us on the Alexa and Google Home, Skill Store, and Get Mockin'. I am the D.O.N. Vinny, it's always a pleasure. Be good, fam.
This has been Let's Talk Fantasy Football. Thanks for listening.